My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And it's that time again, which it feels like it's a little earlier because of just how the days of the week, like, turned out in June.
Yeah.
That, like, it feels like it's so much, that it should be later in the month that we're recording what we're watching, but it is what it is. Like, sometimes the days of the month, just the last Monday is, like, the week before the month ends, you know? So it feels like a little earlier of what we're watching. But for anyone joining us for the first time, every month we come and do an episode, the last episode of every month, where we just tell you stuff we've been watching that we like, and maybe very quickly stuff that we don't. But you know, like people love hearing about what we're watching, so maybe you can pick something to watch yourself. But yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing, and I believe Sky is gonna be starting us off. Sky, what is something you've been putting your eyeballs upon?
So, one that I've been watching is My Military Valentine, which I think this was on my radar, and then it dropped off a smidge just because I forgot that it was going to be a thing. But as far as why I picked it up, I mean, all I saw was, like, North Korean spy and idol, and I was there. Like, that was... but on top of that, as far as the cast, mainly dude, you're talking Kim Min-suk. Like, he's in everything. Yeah. He's amazing in everything. And it's funny, his character's name is Lloyd. He's the idol. An idol named Lloyd. I think that's really funny. That just doesn't compute to my American brain very well, I don't think.
That feels like one of those, like, they didn't really think about what popular American names, like English names would be for people in his age range, and just picked a random white guy name. But
yeah.
And then I didn't know the right, because I was trying to, like, not know much about it before I started watching it. And I will say, I want to preface, I do feel like it's a low-budget show, so just go in knowing it's a low-budget show, and that helps you along, I think, a lot. But as far as the cast, like, now that I look at it, and now that I had a moment where they were kind of revealing this, like, mysterious character for a second, who's kind of being a little sketch, and I was like, that's a very slender dude. And I was like, you know who I miss? I miss Song Jae-rim. I just really, like, I haven't seen him in anything in a while. And then who was it? It was Song Jae-rim. So I was like, well, thank you for being him.
that waist to ass ratio seems so familiar. It just reminds me of someone I haven't seen in a while. Wonder what he's doing. Oh, he's doing this.
Oh, he's doing a tiny man. So, like, he's just a slender guy. So, like, I was like, but I mean, there are other guys with the same body type. It's not like there's just Song Jae-rim that has that body type. But I was happy to see him. But also, like, and I haven't seen a lot of his character yet, but Steve No, who, like, as far as if you don't know who that, like, Pachinko, soundtrack number 2, but definitely Pachinko, like, you'd recognize
if you
Pachinko.
Don't know.
Yeah.
We have an episode about
that was a bad pun. I'm gonna just...
You tried, though.
No, yeah, you did.
I'm gonna just see myself out, okay.
But essentially, right off the gate, it takes place in a unified Korea. So, like, it's all, like, a newly unified Korea, and they kind of... a thing happens and he gets booted into the military as an idol, and then he gets shoved onto this joint military task force that she leads, and she's really kick-ass. And so, like, it's this, and she's, like, on a motorbike, it's a whole thing. So I thought it was really, really fun. Like, and people are being sketchy, like, there's people trying to sabotage the unity, and that's, like, the whole thing. So I do think for people that liked Crash Landing on You, as far as if they liked that North-South Korea aspect, there is a lot of that. So I thought it was really fun. I've only watched the first 2 episodes so far. It was just very introductory. They did have a fair bit, as far as, they're not just like, ooh, he's an idol, except the fact that, like, it is they'll show bits of them performing on stage. And so he does pretty good. It's just really funny because I've seen him in so much other stuff. And then, like, he's, like, really makeup up, like, idol makeup, really heavy with, like, pink, like, pink eyeshadow and stuff. I'm like, I'm just not used to seeing you like this, buddy. Like with highlights and the whole 9 yards. I'm like, that's not your typical look. And then when his character gets booted into the military, he's not happy to be there. It's pretty funny. So, and she's not having his shenanigans at all. And everyone's like, just buck up, buddy. It's just,
it's
but they're
funny that you're bringing this up this week because, like, just yesterday on Twitter, somebody was like, I haven't seen Sanjay Riddle in a long time.
Everybody's like thinking about him.
This show, and it was like,
that's funny.
I came out. Like, I completely forgot.
Yeah,
it was coming out.
So.
And
I think like a handful of the episodes are already out, at least 4-ish, if not a little bit more. It is on Viki, as far as if you're looking for it. I did not see what it was rated, because I know that might be a little topic that comes up, but like I did not look at the rating of it. I will say there is some shooty shoots, so I would think it'd be something.
Oh, let's find out. Listen, I'm always...
Well, if you didn't have to put in your pin when you're on the Roku, you're fine.
Yeah, I wasn't on the...
It's rated 16 plus, which is
there
a rating I've literally never seen on Viki before. No.
But they have PG-13, so that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I love how the very first tag is propaganda. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I will say
sure.
the like working English title before it kind of settled on My Military Valentine was Bloody Romance, and I was really like thinking that was really hitting.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
I
now
remember
it
hearing
sounds
about that.
much
Okay,
more
that
familiar.
sounds.
It's
familiar.
like no, it's not a vampire show, but like Bloody
Right.
Romance. Like, oh, that sounds intense. That sounds really cool, and it's like My Military Valentine. Okay, I'll accept it.
Yeah,
It's fine. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's very military, very military agenda. Like, I mean, yeah, propaganda. There we go. But yeah. I really enjoy it so far. I'll definitely be keeping up with it. But I will say again, it's interesting because the caliber of the actors and stuff in this, it looked a little low budget to me, and stuff usually doesn't even stand out to me like that, but it just felt like that. Maybe just because action scenes felt not quite as impressive as you. I'm usually really impressed by that, and I was like, oh, this is fine. It's fine when it comes to that. And maybe that'll just be, sometimes they kind of front load that stuff, and then maybe there won't be a ton of action later on. It's very possible that it might be more just thriller or something, so.
Sure.
They might just be trying to show, hey, she can do things. So how about you, Amanda?
I started an anime this week called Grandma and Grandpa Turn Young Again. And it is about a pair of old farmers, orchard farmers, and they're out in the picking the apples, and they've been married for like 60 years. And he says, Grandma, if you were young again, what would you want to do? And she's like, what a dumb question, because we're like 80 years old. Like, I can't redo my life. I've had a good life. We were happy. Everything's good. They're walking through the orchard and they see this tree and they're like, it's been wrecked by a big storm that's come through. And they're like, oh, that's so sad. That's the tree that we planted when we got married. And he's like, it's too bad we weren't able to go on a honeymoon. We couldn't do anything. And he's thinking, he's got this whole inner monologue about how she deserved to have pretty dresses and nice dates and all these things that he couldn't provide for her. And they look up and they see there's this one beautiful golden apple hanging off of this tree that has been wrecked. And they're like, you know what? Let's take that home. We're going to have it with dinner tonight. It's the last fruit of this tree of our, 60-year wedding. And wake up in the morning and Grandpa's still thinking these thoughts, and he washes his face and he looks at himself in the mirror, and he is an extremely attractive, 20-year-old man now. And he is like, wiping the steam off the mirror, and he's like, no, that's me. He runs back. He's like, Grandma. And then he gets to the bedroom and Grandma's young again too. He's like, time for that. Let's go. And basically, it's the weirdest little drama, but it's just, they look exactly like they did when they were young, except for they've got their gray hair. And they're like, grandkids come over and they're like, their young teenage granddaughter's like, who is this hot man in my house? And then she's like, oh
no! Wait a second.
Oh,
why does this hot young man look vaguely familiar?
No.
She's like sitting there, and her mom, at one point, her mom feels similar. Like, her mom is not his daughter. She's like, he is too attractive and it is causing me problems. Like, I can't even look my father-in-law in the eye now. But then, like, the daughter's like, sort of like, he looks like an idol, Mom. And she's like, just stop it. Stop it now. We just have to stop because this is not even allowed in fiction, she says. And it's like, okay.
We could stand Grandpa. We just shouldn't think he's like,
yeah, exactly. And she very much gets over it, and things go on. And then their other granddaughter comes to live with them because she's having problems with her dad, and there's just all these like little family things, but everybody just accepts it. Like, it's very odd. They're just suddenly very young. So there's like a sports day between these two small towns, farming villages, and like, oh, now Grandma and Grandpa can, like, you know, the sports days have gotten increasingly.
You become young and you're like,
there's no children, you know.
Do farming communities do sports days in Japan? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I think it's something.
In anime they do, at least, I guess.
Apparently. So, you know,
all that extra energy you have after doing all your stuff.
I guess if they don't have, like, dedicated, like, stadiums or anything, they're just like, well, you know.
They're just doing, like, tug-of-war and, you know.
Let's play horseshoes or whatever,
Yeah, and it's like, this town loses every year because all of the young people move away and there's nobody there. And they're like, we should just forfeit this year. It's too embarrassing. And then, you know, handsome young grandpa comes in with his muscles and he's like, no, we're not giving up. And then, like, at one point he's almost losing, and then this like old lady comes over to Grandma and she's like, here's what you have to do, dearie. And she's like, you can do it, sweetie, you can, you know. And then he's like, ooh, and then he, you know, and she's like, he likes cheerleaders, like, what? And it's like, he's a man, sweetie. Like, but they're so in love with each other. Like, they're just so in love with each other, even though all these other people are very attracted to them. They're both very like, oh no, like, I am flattered that you find me attractive because I haven't been attractive for many, many, many years. But this is my person, and I only care that this person finds me attractive. So it's very nice that way. It's got a lot of stuff going on with these granddaughters and the sons that they're not really connected well with anymore in their old age, and so reconnecting with their sons, trying to get that relationship. I think their sons are businessmen, and one of them's a doctor, and they've sort of left the small town for the big city, and, you know, wouldn't take over the farm and stuff. So I don't think Grandpa has a problem with them doing those things. I think that they think Grandpa has a problem with the fact that, and they feel guilty for abandoning Mom and Dad back at the farm. But, like, Mom and Dad are like, we like our farm and we're happy and we're together and that's all we care about. So it's very cute. They have little flashback scenes and of how they got together and stuff. And the only way you can tell it's a flashback is because now they have dark hair instead of your magical silver hair. But yeah, I'm
is that on Crunchyroll?
Yeah, it's on Crunchyroll. It just finished airing, like the last episode came out this week or last week or something. So, and I think it's based on a manga. It's very cute. It's got the very cute, like, you could see it as a J-drama very easily. It's got,
they probably will.
And they have, like, the little animated, like, dance scene at the end while they all sing and stuff. And you're like, oh, yeah. They're setting this up for a live action.
Get the live action going. Yeah, probably.
So, which will probably be equally adorable. So, and they do little moments where they will sort of flash, like, their elderly face through it, so that you know that, like, he sees how pretty and young she is, but he still sees Grandma in there, and they just always still call each other Grandma and Grandpa because it's the person inside that they're in love with. So.
Yeah, that sounds cute.
It's very cute.
Yeah.
I'm quite enjoying it.
Cool.
How about you, Jessie?
So I am behind on a ton of things. I have a ton of dramas that I started in various like stages.
You know.
Some very far, like, maybe only 2 episodes before I'm done with the show. And then, has been stuff that I haven't gotten around to. But despite all that, I just picked up a new drama that I had never heard
Classic.
of. Because, I mean, might as well.
Might as well.
Listen, that's just the way we do it, Jessie.
YOLO.
Yeah.
Might as well.
The heart wants what the heart wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
my heart really wanted to scroll through Vicky for a very long time, looking at random things.
yeah, I've been doing
That's
that
how
as well.
I found it. I don't remember which section it was in. It was in maybe it was in the popular trending. I don't know. So I ended up watching the C-drama called Regeneration. It is a 2024 drama. I think it just finished airing maybe last month, so it's fairly new in terms of that. It is a shorter drama too. It's only 10 episodes, which was like very much like I was like, oh, okay, maybe I will look at this C-drama. It is a suspense kind of thriller, a drama, essentially about this group of people who don't know each other that all get this letter telling them to come to this island because the person that they all know has passed away, and there's going to be a will reading for it.
Okay.
It's like back to his island that he grew up in and stuff. And so they all get together and they kind of realize that they're very weird group. Nobody makes sense to be together, and nobody makes sense on why they would be in his will. And so they start telling stories about this guy, and they kind of find out through these stories that although they all know the same person, they don't know the same person, and there's very different stories and ways that they're connected happening, and the whole show is just them trying to figure out who this person is, why they are there, what's going on, and just try to figure out how he died, and potentially where he is, and who actually is the one that brought them all together. So it's very much a very mystery suspense thriller, where you don't know what's going on, besides the fact that you start to realize that this person is not who everyone else has. It was really good. I watched it literally in one day. I was said, I just went through it. I thought that the first half was probably the better of the 2 halves, because this is not a spoiler or anything, but the end half focuses more on his story specifically, so it's a lot with him, and it's good. It's just I really liked the mystery and the play of the characters telling their story about how they know him, and them kind of figuring out things and maybe connecting things or not connecting things, and just because they were so drastically different humans in general, that it was interesting to kind of see what the relationship was, and also kind of the real just unknowing of everything that's happening and going on in the show. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a solid drama, especially if you're into that kind of genre. It's really good, and I recommend it, and it's on Viki, so it makes it easy. I think it's also on Yuko or whatever.
No, that sounds good. Yeah. Add to watch list.
Yeah, you should. We can talk about it.
So this morning I woke up at an ungodly hour for no reason that I often do. It was 5 a.m. and I was like, I don't need to be awake for another 7 hours. This is ridiculous. But I was like, so what can I do to pass the next 4 hours of my time before anyone else in this house wakes up? And so I opened iQIYI, as you do, and I was like, there's got to be something on here that I haven't watched. There always is. And I started watching and completed all in this morning before anyone else in my house woke up. The KBL Jazz for Two, which is 8 half-an-hour episodes. So for a KBL, that's a pretty good length.
Some time.
Like, I spent a good 4 hours on this today, and I liked it quite a bit. So the basic plot is you're following this like high schooler. It's a high school BL, like whatever. It's in the same universe as Put Your Head on My Shoulder, if you've that one. They actually have a cameo, and also one of the actors is also in Omega X as well, so it's like they're just continuing the vibes. So you follow this guy who's the son of a famous classical pianist, and his older brother is also a classical pianist, and his father had taken him out of school for 2 years to train him as a classical pianist, but he's got a secret. He doesn't like classical music. He fucking loves jazz. He loves jazz, okay? And so finally he's like convinced his dad to let him go back to high school. So he's a sophomore. And so he goes to this new school and he's like so excited. And it's like an arts high school. So his dad thinks he's going there to study classical piano. But he's not. He's there for some jazz and some socializing, okay? Because he just wants a normal life where he sees someone besides his kind of asshole dad who just makes him practice classical piano for like 6 hours a day. So he then, on his efforts to locate a piano room to practice in, finds a room that appears to be abandoned and starts playing the piano, where there's this other dude taking a nap who wakes up and is like, "You're not fucking allowed here. Like, get the fuck out of this. Get out of here. Like, this ain't your place." Like, and he's like, and it turns out that's his new classmate, who's a bit of a crotchety dude who's dealing with the loss of his brother, who was also a jazz pianist, and so he plays the trumpet. But he now hates jazz because he like associates it with his brother. So he's just kind of coasting. And then, things go from there, right? Like, there's also like a second. Comes in. Exactly. The B's are there. Now the L grows from that. It was nice. It wasn't like super complex. I literally watched it all before anyone woke up in my house this morning. I genuinely enjoyed it. There was like this one scene though, I will warn people. There's one kind of fucked up scene near the end of it, in a consent-y sort of fucked up way, which then, does get rectified. But it was nice. It was just a nice little show. It had some fun jazz. There was like one of the other characters, there's like a second couple, and one of the dudes is like kind of a piece of shit. Like, he's kind of sucks, and he gets a bit of a redemption a little too quick, because it's just like, oh, you were only mean because you were gay? Like, enough, okay? Enough of this. Like, just because you're secretly gay doesn't mean you have to be an asshole to like other people. But, like, it was a very solidly, like, nice little high school music-themed BL.
Nice.
And so if you're just looking for a quick little high school music-themed BL,
okay,
it's on iQIYI, and you can watch it in 4 hours. And it was fun. It was fun. I liked it. And that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say about that. So, Sky, give us another one. What's another show you put your peepers upon?
Oh, I think it's probably time to talk about My Sweet Mobster.
Obsessed. Okay.
As far as, if you don't know what My Sweet Mobster is about, it's on Viki, as far as like where you want to find it. Cutest show. It's just so cute. So it really mostly centers around this gal who she is a kids content creator. Like, she is a part of a like business channel YouTube situation. So it's not like she's just this, and she is contracted to that, but she has an office and a boss and things. So there is a little bit of office-y stuff with that. But so she's just pretty much the sweetest bean that is ever anything. And then you have this character that is an ex-mobster. And but you have to
so much.
You have to realize when they talk about their former current whatever gangs, like you have the Bulldog gang and they have a little white French bulldog that dresses up in clothes, and then you have like a real dog, and then their rival gang is the Kitty gang, and the leader of that gang, his Korean name sounds like the Korean word for cat. The hotel they own is the Cat Hotel. As far as his little henchman dude, always wears a cat carrier, one of those bubble cat carrier, and the cat is always there. With the real cat.
Like the long-haired white villain cat, like...
And he's giving real, like, Inspector Gadget bad guy.
Very much so. Very much so.
As far as who plays that, it's a character actor that you've seen in literally everything. Yeah. Like, he's in everything. There's a lot of character actors all throughout this show. There's cameo from Haha. Like, there's all types of stuff. But there's a lot of, probably the first 2 or 3 episodes, there's so many misunderstandings between these two people that really they should never really cross paths, just based on, because this former mobster guy, he now owns like a meat company where they like make fancy charcuterie meats and all these things. Well, they're trying to market children's sausages, and so as far as like there's a kids food festival and it's this thing, and he ends up getting hurt, and then what does he do to pass the time? Watches her kid's YouTube video channel, and he just falls he falls in love, because he's like,
so in love.
He's
so in love.
She accidentally, like, you know, busted his ribs, and so he's on some meds, and he didn't sleep all night watching these videos, and so he's hallucinating about her actually being there blowing bubbles, and then she actually shows up, and it's like, oh no, she's actually here, like, awkward.
The panic.
I love him. Like,
and then as far as all of his little business guys, they're all ex-cons. You have Jay-chan, the kid from Semantic Error, is in it. He's like the Macnay guy working for him. He doesn't get like all that many lines, but he's around. He's cute. Just all types. It's just adorable. Like, it's just
so cute. And like, there's a little bit of like deep to it too, right? Like his whole thing is trying to have the like these criminals get a second chance, and the way that society doesn't want to let them have a second chance and stuff. Like it's there's like a little bit of
and as far as
there, you know,
it's not that they just go, oh, she's a kids creator. Like, they actually go and like slowly show flashbacks of when she was growing up, like why, you know, tough home life. Dad was in debt, so she really doesn't like mobsters because of the terror that was associated with that debt and stuff that she had to deal with. So anyway, but then she kind of, you eventually see a small story, a little small, as far as like the type of kids content she makes, and they make this very like, they don't bring it up a ton, just enough for you to know. All these other kids content creators that are at her business are much more successful than her, because they kind of take all of the toy sponsorships of any sort and whatever. Whereas she grew up impoverished and stuff. So she really wants to make kids content kind of for every kid, and she doesn't really want to sell them anything if she can help it. And she definitely doesn't want to sell expensive things. And there was even a very small detail of like, she's not willing to do like makeup toys because she does, and they didn't even say why, but like she has these,
she has lines.
Very, very moral things in her head of like, she wants to do this for kids so they can have someone, because she pretty much didn't have anybody. And it's not like she sits there and explains that. They show it very slowly over these first 4 episodes. And I thought that was just insanely sweet. And so things are working against her for a lot of things. Like, the job goes bad, all this stuff. And he kind of steps in just enough to, like, you know, they clear up their misunderstandings. And it's just being there for her. And she is not insta-love at all. But he is gone. He is, like, sold.
Oh my god. He's such a simp. I love him so much.
But he's not even, like, he probably at this point wouldn't even say I love her or anything, but he is gone. He has been gone. But then of course you have a second lead who's a prosecutor, and he was from Gongshim Once Upon a Time. And is he a childhood friend? We don't know. It's
maybe
a whole thing. Maybe
there's a whole. Someone's a childhood friend. She's looking for her. Like, oh,
they keep on bringing that up.
They do be bringing it up a lot. You know,
there's always a childhood friend.
I have my theories as to who it actually is.
Yeah,
neither here nor there. Listen, we've been at this game a while now. We're not novices at the KDrama setups.
But so one thing I want to mention is the opening credits stuff. There's an illustrated animation situation. It's so cute and it's so pretty. It's just it really sets the tone, and it's not just there's this cute stuff. Like, it's all the details from all the episodes so far. Like you eventually see like, oh, there was random milk. Well, that was a whole thing in the episode. Like it's a whole thing. He gets drunk at one point. He can't handle it, and he just goes super cute. So like this mobster type guy being super cute, acting like a kid. And he's very soft spoken. I want to say that about he's not he's not someone that even really comes off that scary. It's just that he wears black. He's very tall. He is very tall. And he has very angular features. Yeah. But since he's always surrounded by guys that call him Hyungnim, like of course, like contextually I understand he's in a black car with all these guys dressed in black bowing to him. I get it. But as far as, like, he's very gentle with his people. He's just a little sweetie. But of course, the prosecutor hates his guts, so that you know what's coming up next. This whole big, like, rivalry thing.
Of course.
But she's adorable. Just all the misunderstandings the first pretty much 3 episodes. There's even a point where she has these side jobs. She's dressed as a soju bottle, running away from him and falls. It's a whole, like, it's very funny. It's very silly. There's a lot of silly. And like I said, even rival gang stuff, they're trying to make it really serious with like, oh, this drug that's bad. Okay. But also, the guy's petting his cat. Like, I can't really be too serious about... It's like the guy's name sounds like cat. Like, I can't focus. It's too silly. So if you can't handle silly, probably do not pass go, do not watch the show. But
I made it 11 minutes.
Yeah, you're probably like, oh, listen, this is plenty.
I only went for one thing, because sometimes you do silly things for boys, but saw enough. I'll just look at pictures.
You're like, you know what, we're good. It's not for me, and that's fine.
People are giving me stills, so I'm good.
It's not for Jessie. That's all good. It is for Natalia and Sky.
Definitely for Amanda also.
I will say, if you're there to just like see what Jay-chan is up to, he's not doing much. He's just barely there. So like, if that's the one
do
reason
more later on,
he might. As far as like, is his even side character pretty like, not even tertiary, like further down? Yeah, like. He's not going to be having a girlfriend like that. You're not going to be seeing him doing too much more than likely. He'll probably just be. You can just tell all these guys are going to be running back up to like help him do a date someday. You can just tell they're all going to be involved because it's the whole. They're kind of this little found family of ex-cons.
Yeah, it definitely screams found family heavy.
Yeah, very much.
Like strong
especially
woman,
episode
soon,
4
like, type.
Like there was like a sequence of scenes in episode 4 that was like, this is the found family we're about to present you. All of these like goofy mobsters encountering a normal woman for the first time. Like, this is here you go. And
one of them is a little belligerent to her, and then another one is staring at her, and they're like, "Are you okay, dude?" And he's like, it's just weird to have a woman in the house. Like,
they can like.
And then and this is the same guy that a few moments later, she's like, I can help with the dishes, and he's already putting on gloves. No, I don't allow anyone else in the kitchen. Like, that's my thing.
This is my domain. And then the other guy's like, it's his hobby. Like, just let him do whatever. Yeah.
I really like the one scene where they've got there's like a priest and the prosecutor's like really intensely asking this priest, like, I know you can't really be a priest because you used to be a gangster and you can't, people don't change, you must be running scams and stuff. He's like, let me tell you how I found the Lord. And he's like, basically, every time I went to collect one of my guys as he got out of prison, this guy took them and said, you can go straight. And eventually it got really embarrassing for me that, like, nobody wanted to come back to my gang. So I quit my gang and now I'm a priest. And it's like...
And now you're in scams and stuff. I mean, that's why he was
he was still a scammer.
For sure. But, like, it's so cute when they show the scene of, like, he's there to, like, collect his guys and they all just run past him. These other guys
like an open arms to a meat company.
It was pretty cute because it showed, like, the personality of all the guys. And, of course, Jay Chan's character being this kid. He comes with his backpack. He comes bounding up, like, hugging him like a dad, like, hi! Like, it was really cute.
Yeah.
It's a really cute show. It's silly. I'm loving it.
It's just, it gives me cavities type thing. Definitely, like, it's just silly. It does not take much brain power. You do not have to think very hard when watching it. And I do think they sell the humor pretty well. Like, they haven't made her character really be all that humorous. Like, she's really not... She has a lot of misfortune, but she doesn't go super slapsticky, really. It's the mobster character that gets any of the kind of goofy looks and things like that. So, like, I kind of prefer that. I like it when... Her character already has a lot of misfortune going on with what she's needing to face. And so... Making him the goobery
It's also not like...
fun.
It's nice when it's not, like, just, like, default the female character doing that. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Like, I preferred the tough guy character being the goober, essentially, and she's just the sweetie, so, like, it's nice. So
yeah. It's nice. It's a nice show. I'm liking it.
It is.
It's very silly. Very silly.
Very cute.
How about you, Amanda?
I started watching Ploy's Yearbook, which is a Thai drama on YouTube, GMM TV. I kept meaning to get it started, and then I would just,
do something
comes
else.
up, other things are happening, and then there, I'm seeing clips. Clearly, somebody else was watching this that I know, and seeing clips, and I'm like, oh, like Earth and Namtan are like one of the couples, and I love them separately, so I'm going to actually tune in and watch this, because if I love them separately, they have to be great together too, because they are adorable. So it's basically this story about these 5 girls, all named Ploy, in the same class in school, and stuff happens, life happens. Basically, we're, 10-15 years down the road, and life has not gone the way that they wanted life to go, and they're going through divorces and losing their businesses and all these different things, and they sort of start reconnecting with the boys from the class, each other and stuff. And I'm not very far into it yet, so I haven't seen everybody pop back up, but there's just all these little misunderstandings from high school and things where, like, when Namtan and Earth's character first reconnect, and he's furious with her, and she thinks she knows why, but she doesn't actually know why. He's mad at her about something else that she doesn't. She's like, what are you even talking? He's like, you cheated on me. And she's like, what are you even talking about? So you realize that a lot of these issues are going to be things that as teenagers do. They misunderstood. They blew out of proportion. They didn't talk to each other about, because they're 17 and dumb, right? So it's gonna be, I don't know. We'll see how
so what's
into it I am. But
what's the tone of it?
GMMTV high school. I don't know.
Okay. You know what?
So there's a lot of flashbacks. So it is like high school tone.
Yeah. So it's very evenly, like, both, probably a little heavier on the high school initially, because they're doing a lot of the setup for what went on with these characters. Why do these girls have beef with each other? Why are these guys no longer in their lives? Why are they're excited, so they're doing a lot of the setup in the initial episodes. I think it's going to get to a place where it's more in the modern day grown folk time, but even that is not, like, it's not heavy Licorne type stuff. This is very solidly GMMTV, like, this is for the teen set, you know, teens, early 20s kind of. It's for the young people, and it's not the dark for the young people stuff. It's just gonna be like 5 girls and their lives and where they are when they're 30 or whatever. So
nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So I started watching a J-drama called 7 Orifices. It's on Netflix. It dropped the first 4 episodes a couple of months ago. I don't know if they're gonna put the last 4 episodes of this 8-episode drama on Netflix. I don't.
Oh.
It's very weird because it doesn't seem like it's a part 1, part 2 situation. But according to MDL, all of the episodes are out as of June 5th from their airing schedule. But I can only find 6 in total in general. And it doesn't, and it's not like something weird happened where like it's like Netflix is behind and so they're airing it once a week, because if they were airing it, I would see the other 4 episodes and when it's coming up, like it, it'd be listed. And I can't find anywhere that says it has like, it's like split up into part 1, part 2, which Netflix does do that, but I don't know. It just feels like it's a drama that's not popular enough, nor like cared about enough to like split up into 2 parts. I don't know.
That's annoying.
I will say a lot of people who watch this drama will not like this drama. So I'm sorry, but I really liked what I watched about it. So it's technically a sci-fi drama, but it has nothing to do with the sci-fi aspect of it. Like really, in reality. So essentially what happens is one day in Japan, 7 holes to somewhere show up and people are trying to theorize what it is and stuff like that. And then they've been there enough that it's kind of just like they're just there now, and like some people go in but nobody has gone in and come back out. So you are essentially with I did a lot of dramas that were kind of set up in this like weird way where people are telling stories in a group setting, but so essentially what happens is it's a group of people who are telling like their stories of their life or like significant moments in their life, and they don't actually explain why they are together. Like if it's just like a group that has gotten together before they go into one of these holes, or if it's like a cult that like is trying to like preserve stories. They don't talk about it all. It's literally the episodes are the people recounting some like moment or moments in their life. But what's really cool about it is that it's the way that they do it. So when they're like recounting their story, they don't do flashbacks. They essentially have the characters come on in what is essentially like a theater rehearsal space. And so when they're going through these stories, it's like not fully furnished things, and you can see the different areas in the room because it's just like the little sections of the room will be like the living room area where some like important talk happened. So there's only like a sofa and a coffee table, but then like maybe they go to characters like catch a cab, so they go in and sit down and they're in front of a screen and the person's just holding a steering wheel. But it's all done like that, like for this like the recounting of like their stories. And they're a lot of the times they're like not significant stories or anything like that. Like they're like significant to this person, but like generally like if you're like you watching it, it's not like they're grand stories.
It's not like you're piecing together a puzzle or something.
Yeah, like it's just very like, I mean like one of them's about a girl who she comes to Japan from America, doesn't know any Japanese, gets into ballet, is really into ballet, and then she has to like leave ballet because her mom doesn't want her to be in ballet anymore, and like that's it, like that's the the whole story. But like all of these like end with the characters either going or not going into one of the holes. So it's like them going and doing their thing. And I don't know if like towards the end of the series or other things that are going to happen. I'm pretty sure it's also an anime as well and a manga. So there might be more to the story. And so maybe they just like wanted just this significant thing. But it's like, you don't know anything about, like, they're like little snippets where they'll have like illustrations where they're like, people are like kind of talking about the holes, but it's just like not a lot of information. And it kind of just is like, people are theorizing, you know, just randomly. But
man, something like that to not have the second part though, like it makes you go, was there a big reveal? Like,
I'm sitting here like,
even if it wasn't some grandiose reveal, even if it was like there was a heavy hint and it's like, oh, that's fascinating.
Like, are you going to give me this too? Because like hardly anybody has watched it too. So like when I go into like MDL, most of the time people have hated it, so they've already stopped it. But nobody's talking about the fact that there's only 4. And I keep going back thinking maybe it didn't load or something, but nothing is happening. It stopped at 4, and I was like, it very clearly stopped at 4 because it like wanted to like go to another show. Yeah. 4. And I'm like,
so bizarre.
I was like, is it supposed to be that like maybe there's supposed to be even shorter episodes and like it's 4 episodes here because it's like
in parts,
but it's already so short anyways. It's like 25-ish minutes, maybe even less than that each episode, so they're already really short. And on MDL it does say that length with 8 episodes, so I don't know.
So strange.
But if you're into kind of like slice of life, really, I like you might be into this. I just thought the way that they presented the storytelling with the rehearsal space is just like so cool, because everybody is doing it like it's just the like reenactment of this entire thing. But like, you know, they'll like go through a doorway and it's just the frame that's just like standing there, and you can,
that's cool.
Maybe like if one of their stories happened where they were like in a restaurant at one point and now they're in another spot, they'll be in another spot, and in the back you can still see the restaurant tables with like the like one extra that was sitting on another table still in the back. You know, it's like, and it's very much done like a theater rehearsal space. So like it's, you know, in that gray area of where like you're in the rehearsal space, so you don't have the full set, but you do have some stuff. You can have like the sofa with throw pillows and the coffee table have a little bit of stuff on it, but then other things it's just like bare stage or, you know, bare floor. And I just thought that was really cool. And it was just like these random stories that were like for these like specific people. I guess their last, like, maybe it's just like more of that, like it's their last thing to tell, their story to tell before they go. And it's not monumental. They're not like stars or any like, you know, quote unquote worthy person to be in the records, but like they have a story no matter like how small it is type thing. I
sounds
really
fascinating.
Enjoyed it. So hopefully
it does sound like it would separate the, you know, there's people that like slice of life, and then there's people that like slice of life.
Yeah.
They can like hang on for like, you know, bare bones slice of life retelling level of stuff.
This is not for most average Asian drama watcher, especially like younger drama watchers. It's just not something that they're gonna find interesting. But I was like, I'm so into this. This is not what I expected at all, because like the synopsis does talk about the holes, and so you would just assume it's going to be like a sci-fi thing, and I was like, oh, this is not at all that.
The holes are a mere backdrop to be like inane things that they're up to. That's interesting. So for my second one, there's been like a new thing happening where iQIYI will like pick up GMM TV shows as they're airing, and sometimes they'll do like a uncut version or whatever, and then YouTube will have like an edited version. And when I tell you I'm surprised that this show I'm watching isn't one of those, because there's no reason this should be airing on YouTube with the content within it, but it is, and no one's saying nothing. So that is the currently airing show Wandee Goodday that I love. So the basic plot, it's another BL shock.
Le Shock.
Le Shock.
What?
Natalia watching multiple gay shows at once. So basically, it's currently airing episode, I believe, when this comes out, there will be 8 episodes of 12 out. And they're like 50-minute episodes. So they're like, you know.
And you've told me to watch it. I'm waiting until it's done,
Yes.
man. I'm not playing.
So the basic plot is that there's this like osteo doctor, and he's in love with his coworker who is also like an osteo resident with him at this hospital. And so he confesses to this guy, and this guy shuts him down in such a nasty, unnecessary way. And you're just like, oh my God, you're a piece of shit. So he's like, fine, okay? But then immediately finds out that they're both vying for the same scholarship. So then the guy, after breaking up with him, is like, but you should let me take this scholarship. Like, you should get out of the running for this scholarship. And he's like, you know what? Fuck you. Absolutely not. So, in comes our second main character, who is like a champion Muay Thai fighter, who's seeing him like going to the hospital to like check on an injury that has, you know, that he's been healing before he goes back into the competitive circuit. And he's currently in love with like he's attending university while he does this, and he's got a crush on this girl at university, but she doesn't seem that interested in him whatsoever. But through a series of situations, the two of them end up sleeping together. Okay? And like, they like each other. Okay? Like, they're like, oh yeah, it's just casual, but you're like, okay, sure, fan. But then meanwhile, back in the hospital, rumors start going around about how this doctor had like confessed to the other doctor and how embarrassing it all was and how he's so hung up on this doctor. And then he's like, no, I'm already dating someone else.
Oh
like,
boy.
I'm not, like, listen, I've moved on. Like, that was just like a little thought I had. Like, yeah, he's hot, but he ain't all that. I'm already dating a way better guy who's like nice to me. And they're like, okay, sure.
Is the guy in the room with us?
Yeah, does this man exist? Meanwhile, oh, by the way, I didn't mean to mention this, but this is a big plus. This doctor's best friend is a psychiatrist, who is an openly ace psychiatrist.
Oh, that's awesome.
Played by Drake. The eyebrows of a guy. Okay? The eyebrows on this man, who's like his specialty is like sexual dysfunction, despite the fact that he is ace. So he's constantly like asking him stuff about his sex life and trying to get him to like, you know, utilize some techniques to like tell him how his research is going. He's a delight. But I move on. So then he goes to this. So after these rumors are like, oh, like, you know, no one believes that he has a boyfriend because he doesn't. He's like, hey, Muay Thai fighter who's sleeping with me, I need you for like 3 months to pretend to be my boyfriend.
Contract relationship.
There's no formal contract.
You could be informal with that. There's a deadline. It's a contract.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. Like, you know, like I'm going back into the competition circuit. Like, I don't know. And finally he's like, you know what, fuck it, yeah, I'll do it. Like, because he sees how, like, shitty these, like, nurses who like the other doctor are. What a vibe, okay? And then, you know, very quickly it's like, they're sleeping together every night.
Can I just add, I wish to say that hospital interrelational politics are actually kind of like that in real, like, it is that catty, it is that weird, and it is that campy. It's strange. I just want to put that in there.
There's also like a side...
Woo.
Yeah, I bet. There's also like a side plot with like the boxer's older brother who is also a boxer who runs the gym, and he has a cute little boyfriend who's like the administrator of this, like, the fact that this gym is still open financially is because of this like little boyfriend who's like, you gotta sign up more people. You can't. No. No, we got it. Anyway,
you got to charge for that. You have to charge for that.
Yeah, exactly. They're such a mood. I love them. The whole thing, like the whole show is a mood, and I'm just here for it, and it's so nice. I'm not going to say what happened, because I don't want to spoil anything, but we've just reached a turning point in the plot, and I'm like, there's this whole bit involving, like, literally, like, the show starts out with, like, them first sleeping with each other, right? And he's like, oh, like, it's so casual, like, I didn't even realize I was, like, this bi until this moment. But then he's like, oh, yeah, here, like, while we're sleeping together, you can wear this necklace of my initials. And you're just like, oh, yeah, this is real.
Yeah, it's so casual.
And then the other guy's like, and this is a great setup, where he's like, oh, like, we can do whatever, but, like, I've never actually, like, kissed anyone on the mouth, because I'm like, I've got this silly little notion that I want to have my first kiss with, like, someone I'm in love with. Say less. Say less. Okay, let's go. I love this show. It's on YouTube for free.
They're giving that for free.
They're giving it, like, which is really funny, because I'm watching another one that's also, like, a GMM one that's on iQIYI that has, like, it's so PG. And I'm just sitting here like, why?
They should have been flipped if you would.
Yeah, like, why was that the one that, like, because, like, iQIYI's BL section has a bit of a vibe, you know? Like,
yeah, it does.
Like,
it does.
The uncut corner. We know where that is.
Exactly, the uncut BL corner. You know what we doing. So I'm just like, okay, but it's for free on YouTube, so, like, go ham on this show, let me tell you. Go ham on this show. And of course, the other doctor is like, when he sees that his boyfriend is real,
jealous,
suddenly has a change of. I'm like, you fucking narcissist. And the other doctor's played by Pod, who I love. I love him as an actor, but, like, he makes so few shows, and usually as a villain. And the only other thing he ever posts about is his fishing. So the joke is, every time he runs out of fishing money, he, like, comes back to, like, be a secondary character in a show and then takes off again. So this is his fishing
That's
show.
the life, man.
It's like,
just a villain.
The fish aren't biting. Might as well go back into...
Take out my frustrations as a villain in the show.
And as a fun little behind the scenes aside, the theme song is sung by the guy who plays the boxer. And the guy who plays the boxer, we've seen him before.
Uh-huh.
Because he was the inspector in Manor of Death.
Oh, okay.
His post-stat has gone to GMM TV. So, yeah. So that's...
All right.
So anyway, that's if you're wondering, man, whatever happened to that, like, hot inspector who wore uniforms way too tight? Well, he's wearing even less in this, because he's just shirtless constant. No one's wearing clothes. This is why this confuses me that it's on YouTube. But it's like really sweet at the same time. Like, it's, like, sexy, but it's not like, they're not, like, showing, you know, they're not showing crack or anything. But, like, it's very, like, it's, like, fun, sexy show.
Perfect.
And I recommend it. I think it's great. I can't see any way that they're going to biff it in the last, you know, couple episodes here. So I've been surprised before. But GMMTV is usually, like, they keep the vibe going through the whole show. Mm-hmm. Like, the vibe of the first 2 episodes is going to be the vibe of the last 2 episodes, you know? So, yeah. So I recommend. Before we leave, we have our speed round where we very quickly say other things we've been watching. So, Sky, very quickly, what do you got? What do you got?
So I did a lot of just kind of smorgasbord of, like, first episode, because I haven't been able to watch a lot this month at all, and then I was like, I have some free time. I want to try all the things that are on my little list. I didn't get to all the things. There are still some things I didn't get to, like, put my eyeballs on yet, but I at least got to try The Midnight Romance in Hagwon, which I had forgotten. When they say teachers, I was thinking, like, public school teachers.
Oh, no.
No, we're in that fancy, like, instructor academy. Competitive. I'm like, oh, this is a different vibe than I was expecting. I see what we're doing. But their little smiles, just in episode 1, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
They're pretty great together. It's okay,
the
fine.
chemistry, I'm like, I'll accept the competitive...
Chemistry is chemistrying.
That's
Yeah.
like, I don't really love the backdrop of, this hyper-competitive academia. It's like, not my favorite, like, vibe. But, the chemistry is definitely there. So, like, I'll probably keep up with that eventually. I tried one episode. I didn't have enough time for more. Dreaming of a Freaking Fairy Tale, which, if you're like, what's that? That was the one that sounded like, had the F word in it, like, with Cinderella. Okay.
Right.
Have you picked that up at all yet, Natalia?
I have. I watched, I think I also watched one episode.
Okay, so you didn't get further than the first one. The vibe on that show, I don't even know how to...
It's bizarre.
The thing is, I'm totally here. So the two lead, like, the actor and the actress, like, I love, like, they're great. I've seen them in all these other shows, and so, like, I'm definitely here to, like, see what they're up to. I can't tell you what I really think of even episode 1. The vibe is off. It's very odd.
It feels like a parody. Like, it feels like this is, like, a satirical show.
Because there's
but
even
I don't
a narrator.
know what's satirizing. Like...
Yeah, like, we're kind of course, always like, Cinderella this, Cinderella that, but, like, he's a prince, and he seems really kind of annoying. I don't know. I will probably give it the 4-episode try eventually. I'll work up to 4 episodes, and I'll see what I think. Because I've seen some scene clips for later on, and it looks like there's clips that look really interesting of it, so we'll see. But as far as... I'm trying to remember what she was up to in general. I don't even remember what she was doing, but he, like, owned this, like, wedding venue. No, like, dating wedding venue. They didn't even, like,
it was like a
what
club,
it was.
like a country club sort
for
of.
rich people?
Yeah.
To, like, matchmake? Like, but then they can get married there? Like, I didn't really... It's weird. And it's very, like, very Cinderella in the fact that, like, they show she had a dad... stepmom, like this whole shenanigan. It's a whole thing. I don't know. How did you feel about it, Natalia? I'm just curious.
I thought the vibes were really weird. Like, I'll probably keep watching it because, like, I have no taste. But, like, it was a bizarre vibe to the whole thing. Like, it was very goofy, but, like, not in the usual goofy sort of way. But in the goofy sort of way, as though they're trying to make fun of themselves.
Now, I will say, we've been recommended by a listener to check it out. So, like, that's why, like, I want to give it a really good shake to see, like, what... Yeah. Because it's... This introductory episode was really strange. So it's like, where does it go from there, kind of, is what it feels like. I have no idea. So, and then I watched one episode of Blood Free, which I'm definitely going to be keeping up with. I might have to just do it in little bits, though, because that is... intense so far. Like, oh my goodness. And I will say, of course, so why is it called Blood Free? It centers around this company that has created meat-free products, like a quote-unquote meat, but I want to just tell you right out of the gate, they're showing some pretty graphic stuff about butchering,
factory farming.
So, like, I definitely had to, like, fast forward through a little bit of the front part because I could not handle. So just note, that does not last long. It's a part of this in-world presentation about the company showing their product type thing. But as far as, like, you're not missing anything if you just fast forward right on through that. It's very... So, yeah. But aside from that, it's like, oh, there's a lot of... It seems twisty and betrayal and, like, politics, and money. So, but, man, the cast is wild. They're so good. So I'm gonna definitely, like, seated for that. But yeah, that was kind of the main things, aside from, obviously, the episodes that we did with the other things that we watched. So, how about you, Amanda?
Still watching One Piece.
You're gonna be watching One Piece for the rest of your life. Don't worry about it.
I mean, we've made it up to, like, 504 or something, so we've hit, like, there's a
million more to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like, 1,108 episodes out right now, so we're not even halfway. Yeah. But, it is what it is.
I recently heard about One Piece math, and it's how, like, episodes are only, like, 20 whatever minutes, and that's just, a few like, this many episodes is just a movie length, and the 2 movies.
Yeah.
And in a week,
I feel like it's safe to assume for like every episode in the future, like Amanda's still watching one.
Yeah, we'll just like keep on putting in the same clip.
Until just
the same.
We'll just be like, just put One Piece just floating into the background of the video.
There's a month where I don't make it, and you just cut in. She's still it's like, basically, my husband last night was like, I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that you guys have watched like over 500 episodes of this. I was like, since Christmas, Dad, and he's like, that doesn't make it better.
Listen,
like,
some of us probably watch that much in Law and Order, so like, we're fine.
Sometimes the people who aren't in the binge life don't understand.
They don't understand
it.
But
the binge life.
But if you sat there and added up however many hours of watching sports or whatever they like to watch, it would be the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? And it really is one of those things where, like you said, the One Piece math, like, the episodes are like 24 minutes long or something. And the first like 6 minutes is credits and like recap. And then the final like 3 or so minutes is like, here's what's coming up on the next, like, so
when you can
really
argue yourself down to
15,
20. Yeah.
Like,
It's just like, okay,
it's like those other little shows, like when you're getting down to that low, it's like, oh, that's dangerous territory.
So it's we're still enjoying it. There are times when you're like, okay, this could have been 50 episodes shorter, but like this section alone, but whatever, it's fine.
You're supposed to enjoy the journey.
Right. The biggest problem is that the last 100 or so episodes, the Straw Hat crew are not together.
Oh.
It's Luffy on his own adventure, sort of building his own other found family of drag queens, which is delightful. It was quite a delight to hit for Pride Month. Pride Month I hit. Here we are with the drag queens. But you're like, what I like about One Piece is the crew together, right? And doing their thing. So I would like to see them. We're getting there. And the other thing I've been watching is Minoi's Yorizori. We sort of talked a little bit about it when we did the Idanwook video or episode. She's got this, it's like a variety show where she cooks for her guests and then like, she chats with them, and she's hilarious. Like, she's very young, but also very like ridiculous and a little bit snarky and stuff. There's a great episode in the beginning where she invites Lehigh to come, and Lehigh's scared to go by herself, so she brings Acme Suhyun with her. So it's like, hi Suhyun, at this, and it's adorable. You really see a lot of their personality in it. It's very cute how like Minoi's like, oh, like, yeah, is older than I am, and Suhyun, you're the child, but that's okay. And then at one point, like about halfway through dinner, she keeps like making these sort of comments about how you're the baby, and she's like, when did you debut, Minoi? And she's like, oh, what? And she's like, oh, so you should be calling me Sunday. And she's like, you are nasty. And then she's just like, like, it's just like, she's like, oh, you got an edge, girl. Like, you got a little bite to you. And it's just kind of very cute watching these three girls hang out. I'm like, this could be a show. I would watch these three just chilling out together all the time because it's kind of ridiculous. So, but her show is it's just fun. Like, she had like Loco on, and again, like he's very shy and quiet and stuff. And it's very, she's not. So it's fun. And she likes to push that like age thing and like, I'm just young and you're old.
I'm just a little baby.
I'm just a little guy.
I'm just a little guy.
So it's kind of a fun one to just sort of have, not exactly on in the background, but when you're like, I don't have plot in me right now, so I'm just gonna put this on and just chill, and it's fun.
So I've started Connection. I'm only on the second episode. It's the one with Ji-sung in it. It's a crime thriller. He's a narcotics officer, and it's kind of exactly what you expect. Corruption and things are happening. So it's really good. I enjoy what I've seen so far. So I'm like excited to catch up. It's still airing right now, and I've been watching it on Viki. Also on Viki, I started the J-drama Troubles All Aboard. It's pretty goofy, silly, but it's really short. It's one of the 23-minute episodes. It stars, the female lead is the main female lead in the, what do they call it? The Japanese versions are the mischievous kiss. The playful kiss. The Japanese drama. She's the main lead in that. And then the male lead is the from Our Dining Table, the one that doesn't have the
I like him a lot. Like,
so
you have my attention. I'll have to.
It's short too. Like essentially, she works at a company that is, like they go in and try to troubleshoot what's going on with other companies and that sort of thing. So she comes in, he's the boss, and he wants to create a work environment where people don't want to leave, and not don't want to leave and so that they're always working, but don't run off because they've been run off by people. So she's there kind of trying to figure out what's going on and what's happening in the company, and she's very cheerful and great, and so each episode is kind of singular on one specific person in the company, and they're a fashion company. I started Lovely Runner. I started it. First episode was yes, great. Second episode, I was and I'm kind of about everything else. So now it's my puzzle drama. So I'm sorry. So I'm halfway watching it. So sorry, because I know it's a very beloved drama.
It's not
but I don't hate it.
I finished it and I loved it, but we all have different tastes, and that's totally fine.
I figured I would like it, and the parts that I really like. So that's the thing, and I'm very much interested in the story all around. I also started the C-drama What If. I don't know if I'm going to keep it up, not because I didn't hate it, but I just was I'm kind of indifferent about it. So it's kind of more of I should probably drop it in favor of picking up something that
want to watch.
That I want to watch.
Something you're excited
catch
about.
up with things too.
You're in your freedom moment in time. So
I should really be focused on watching actual things. But that's not gonna happen. I know this about myself. But essentially, it's about a girl who lives in a small town with her boyfriend, and then she's kind of faced with the choice of moving out and doing something else, and it's kind of the show is poised to be well, what if you took one or the other of the roads? So it's kind of mellow romance drama. There's no fantasy or anything. It's very even just life, a little bit the romance between and work. She's good at her job and that sort of thing. So it's potentially a drama that I'd be really into, but I really should actually be focusing in on other things. Because I should.
You want to watch.
Well, it's still kind of
things that excite you, while you watch them.
I should just be picking up random things. I gotta stop doing that. But also my big problem is they released the newest Life is Strange trailer. And if you don't know this about me, I am obsessed with Life is Strange, which is a video game. I'm obsessed with it. I was obsessed with it when it came out. The first one came out, and so now all I'm doing is watching playthroughs of it again, even playthroughs that I've watched before, because it's just I'm spiraled. But it's been 10 years since the very first one, so it's been 10 years since I've seen those, so it's fine that I can.
I'm the same with Stardew Valley, so we get it, girl. We get it.
If you haven't seen the video game, it's pretty good. It's one of those games where a fate, it's a fate-based thing, so you have choices to do stuff, and the main character finds out that she can rewind time. So a lot of your gameplay is rewinding time to get different things to happen, but also you can like decide that like you've had enough of rewinding time. You're just gonna go with whatever happens type thing. It's really cool. It's a good game.
I have a feeling if I got into that, you would never see me.
I think you would love it.
Yeah.
We'd never see you again, girl.
Very, girl love. So if you're into that, especially for this month. It's really cool. It's like, it's got a lot of like different things that happen. You're like essentially a high school student in this boarding place. It's got crime, it's got thriller, it's got fantasy, it's got a big tornado that's potentially coming into town. It's got,
oh shoot,
it's got it all, baby.
Reliving things. So, yeah, it's got everything.
It's got a pretty good sequel game as well.
They have a sequel. They have like the prequel, and then there's like another one that's like it's not really it, but like heart of the world. And then now the newest one is gonna come out. I don't know when. It's probably still got 2 years to come out, but it's still okay. It's like the trailer dropped, and I was like, well, here I am. Cool. Thanks. Natalia.
Well,
so Natalia did tell me that she thought she hadn't watched a lot this month, which I think that's
that's a lie.
Okay.
Like,
let me
Natalia a lot, or
let me clarify. For me, I actually didn't watch that much.
She says this
for a normal person.
Actually, like counts it up, and she's like, "Oh, it's like only like 2 dramas less than my normal." So it's like really never like that far off from her normal too.
But I digress. I haven't finished a lot this month, but I haven't.
You usually do finish a lot, so we give you that.
That's fair.
Yeah, I did finish a few things. Like as I said, I did finish Jazz for 2 this morning. I also finished the 2020 drama. I went back, baby. Listen,
going back to 2020.
Going back to 2020. It's a simpler time. And I finally watched Into the Ring, which has been on my thing for quite a while. Loved it.
It has such a unique vibe to it.
Charming. It is a charming show about local politics.
Yeah, like as far as like, that part.
Which it's about a woman who she gets fired from her job and she just needs money, and then she gets like really upset about how she can't find a job and how shitty life is for her, that she decides to run for like the legislature, but basically like city council, and through a series of ridiculous situations wins, and then has to then be on city council.
Which is no bueno.
Which is, she hates it, okay? Like, everything about this, like, this whole show, she never likes her job. She never likes what she is doing this entire show. But then is also aided by a local civil servant who was her friend back in the day, but she was his friend. He was not her friend, if you know what I mean. Like, and he's just a very matter-of-fact dude who hates his dad, and his dad is also one of the other councilmen. And he works, and then he gets forcibly transferred by his father to like the secretarial pool, and then becomes her secretary. And it is chef's
and
kiss.
do they fall in love? They do, and they are so awkward.
Of course they fall in love. They're both the most awkward people you've ever met. He's played by Park Sung-hoon, not as a villain. He is
specifically
a very relatable dude in this, where he's like,
he has a mood the entire time.
Like the entire, he's like 5 o'clock. I'm going home. Like, we're done here. Like, anyway. It was really good. I genuinely recommend it. It is on Kokowa for anyone.
As far as, for you to remember the title, as far as why is it called Into the Ring, when they vote, there's a little stamp that's a circle. So, like, that's why it's a ring.
Okay.
But then ring fighting, so you see.
Yeah. It's great. It also has Nana as the main actress, and she's as flamboyant and ridiculous as she is so good at being. So... I also finished the BL. I finished 2 BLs. One was the Korean Thai number, Love is Like a Cat. Title makes no sense because you only ever meet a dog. The only animal that you meet are dogs. But you know what? It's fine.
Maybe it's the same? Like
I guess it must be. It has Muse Supposite in it, which is why I watched it. It was fine. Like, it was basically he plays like a Thai singer who's like doing work in Korea and gets cast on this variety show where he has to go work at this like animal cafe run by this dude who like doesn't like him at first, but then they become, you know, but I like what sort of is befuddling about this show, it's not long, it's 12-15 minute episodes, one of those, is that it's like the show missed the part where they fell in love. Where it's like they weren't in love.
That's the important part.
And suddenly they were in love. And I was just like, but where was the falling in love? You know what? It's fine, man. Like
they just took a shortcut. Just missed that part.
But what I love about it is he just speaks Thai the whole time. Like they didn't try to contrive like a dubbing in Korean for him or anything. He just speaks Thai the whole time, and they all wear like Bluetooth headsets that have like simultaneous translation. And like this variety show he's on is just gonna subtitle him. And it's just like he doesn't speak Korean. And they're just like, well, he's Thai, why would he? But he understands Korean. He just doesn't speak it. Anyway, delightful. It was fine. It was I watched it.
If they had shown the falling in love part,
I feel like it would have been better. I feel like it would have been. And there was like also this like other dude, like a local vet. Like I feel like they could have added more of like a triangle tension that would have like improved it. But it was entirely watchable. You know what I mean? Like I watched it and said, okay. You know, it is what it is. I also finished the Taiwanese show Anti-Reset.
Okay.
Little bit of a weirder concept on this one, where there's this dude who's like socially awkward. He's like a professor, and he like dislocates his elbow, and like he has like this shoulder or elbow injury or something, I don't know. And his uncle's like a robotics engineer who then sends him like a human robot to like be his helper. In this world that they're presenting, like these robots are crazy human, okay? Like this is like top of the line. And of course him and the robot fall in love. And that's the plot, okay? It's like him learning to be more human while hanging out with a robot. I gave it 7 out of 10. It was fine. It was fine. It's on IG and Viki, I believe. It's like set in the same universe as like You Are Mine, but like you wouldn't be able to tell because there were no robots in that one. So you're just like
maybe there were and you just didn't know.
You didn't know.
That one was just a very
half of the robots and you were unaware. You need to rewatch it, Natalia. Yeah. Gosh.
I guess. And it's like, and there's actually like a series of shows, and I've watched all but one. Okay, there's like 3 other shows that are apparently in the same universe.
Oh, there's a universe.
Which is, yeah, Stay By My Side, You Are Mine, and VIP Only. I've watched VIP Only and You Are Mine. Neither of them have any robots or anything. One, like, VIP Only is about like this writer who like writes in this cafe restaurant, and then the dude who runs it like feeds him and they fall in love. And then You Are Mine was like this, you know, domineering CEO and his new male secretary who's an idiot fall in love. And then the other one is just like a shaman and a guy who sees, anyway, like that one is more like in line with like the vibe. But I was like, okay, the robots, you know what? It's fine. It was entirely watchable. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I thought it was fine. It was on IG and Viki. You can check it out. You might like it better than me. You might like it worse than me. Who knows? I liked it a totally average amount.
Perfect.
And while Sky has started Blood Free, just this afternoon I had 1 episode left for like the last 2 weeks. And it was one of those where I didn't want it to end sort of thing, so I didn't watch the last episode. But I was like, you know what, Natalia, just watch the last episode. I loved it. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. Wow. It's incredible. if you're okay with blood and violence, you will also like
and politics and PTSD type stuff.
Yeah,
too.
and
I
like
guess I should put that warning on there.
Yeah, like incredible performances by everyone in it.
Hulu for the US, I will say.
Yes, or Disney Plus for Canada, Hulu for the US.
Okay.
And finally, I started. Not finally. This is what I'm going to talk about. Okay, like I watched so much questionable stuff that we don't need to get into. But I did start just started airing BLs on iQIYI. One is Love Sea, which as of this recording has 2 episodes out, but as of the time anyone will listen to it, we'll have 3. Which has the same guys as the second couple in Love in the Air. This is another MAME number. So if you're familiar with her work, low on plot, just a lot of fucking, okay? That's all I can say about this. And like we're in episode 2 and they've been going at it, okay? And it's basically about this like writer who's like a famous BL romance writer who is someone related to him in some way, work or something, sends him to this island to like chill out and work on his next novel, but like he doesn't believe love really exists even though he writes romance novels. And then the local like bisexual menace in town is like hired. That's the only way I can describe him, okay? That's the character he plays in both of the shows.
I think there needs to be a T-shirt for that. Thank you.
It's bisexual menace.
Local bisexual
menace. Is hired by this dude who sent him to the island to like take care of him, and take care of him he does. Anyway, is it well written? Absolutely not. But like it's a vibe, okay? And you're just like, yeah, of course, like 3 days after you meet, you're having sex on the beach. Yeah, why not? Okay. And then I also started, which I'm expecting the vibes to go very similarly to this one, just by who the main actors are. I started Sunset X Vibes, which basically had like the most non-fantasy first episode, which makes the trailer that they show at the end of the first episode very confusing. Basically it follows this fashion student who's interning at this, not fashion student, sorry, jewelry. It's like fashion design, but he focuses on jewelry design at this jewelry company that's like struggling. And so, like, the son of the CEO, the hot son of the CEO, is coming in to, like, solve the problems. And meanwhile, this little fashion, jewelry design student has been, like, talking to this guy on, like, Grindr, or whatever the Thai equivalent of Grindr is, but hasn't met him yet. And, like, all of his friends are like, girl, you gotta, like, go get some. And he's like, oh, but I'm, like, a little 21-year-old virgin. Like, I don't know, like, he looks about 26, by the way. So this is, like, the best part about these sorts of shows, where it's like, yeah, that's a college student if I've ever seen one. But then he's also like been like having like dreams of this like dude in like traditional Thai clothing and like
there you go.
Yeah, okay. And then it's like it's the same guy, right? Like but like but then like the synopsis shows him like the trailer shows him like underwater with like a giant serpent like circling, and I'm just like, what are we doing here?
Maybe he drowns and that's how it flips over.
I get, like,
maybe.
I have no idea where this is going. Like, if there hadn't been that, like, trailer element of, like, this fantasy serpent and, like, like, this maybe past, I don't know. I would just be like, okay, yeah, I know exactly where this show is going. Because he's gonna be his new boss and they're gonna have a secret, But I'm just like, where the fuck does this giant snake come into this? Like, what are we... So anyway, that's on iQIYI. It has new episodes every Saturday, so there'll be 12-hour long episodes, and it is rated R, and I imagine it will be very much. It's a Moe's Bank number. If you're familiar with the show Big Dragon, they starred in that, and it was how nasty. That was a nasty little show. And they're a vibe. So yeah, that's there's been some other stuff, but that's basically it for me. which means that's basically it for us this week. We'll be back next week with we got a spicy one next week. The hit list is coming back next week. For all of you horror thriller fans, next week is the one for you. But if you want to listen to our other episodes, you can find us wherever podcasts can be found, and all of our episodes are also on YouTube. Some in video since last year, and if you want time codes and links to everything we talk about, you have to go to our website, certifiednoonas.com, where we also have every single episode that you can listen to there. We make it so easy to listen to these episodes, okay? We want you to be able to listen to them wherever you are. Just, we want to be here to vibe with you. In addition, if you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednoonas to join the Certified Found family. I literally just uploaded a little mini review as teased by last week's episode as we're recording this, like literally half an hour before we started recording, to go up tomorrow. So there's little mini episodes, little special things, little reviews, little things here and there for our Found family only, a movie night, and we love the Found family.
We do.
They're wonderful. So anyway, that's it for us this week. We'll see you next week with another banger of an episode, I'm sure. As always, wash your hands, wear a mask, think of your immunocompromised brethren, please. And yourself, really. You don't want to get long COVID. I know we harp on this, but, there's a better way. Anyway, as always, keep enjoying Asian entertainment. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.